They are crispy and golden. Here's a look at Mel Kiper's latest mock draft. He has the 49ers taking Mac Jones at number 3 with the pick they acquired last month. Louis Riddick from Get Up yesterday talking about Jones. Take a listen.
Some very, very, very smart quarterback tutors and former offensive coordinators who coached at a very high level in the NFL have told me they believe Mac Jones is the best quarterback in this draft. Not just one that needs to be in the mix or that deserves to be in the mix outside of Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, but they believe as though ultimately he's the best quarterback.
All right, Lou, today's First Take Draft Blitz takes a look at the 49ers, who will be attending Justin Fields' second pro day today, along with other teams like the Falcons and the Patriots. Jimmy G is still on the roster for the Niners, who definitely appear to be looking at the quarterback position. Max, you're up first. What should the 49ers do at quarterback?
Well, first of all, they should keep Jimmy Garoppolo because you have a team that's ready to win a Super Bowl. And you know why they didn't contend? When they don't have Jimmy Garoppolo, they don't contend. When Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't play, the team doesn't win. And if he's just barely better than replacement, right? People, he's okay. Then why is it's so hard to replace him? When he doesn't play, they almost never win. When he plays, they almost never lose. So keep him right there because your team is ready. And maybe the next time he gets to the Super Bowl, and that could easily be this season, he doesn't miss his receiver with the game on the line. It came down to one throw. He didn't make it. Maybe next time he does. That's the first thing. The second thing is we've seen the model for quarterbacks. A lot of times you want to get them these reps in the first year. But actually, the best version of how you draft and develop a quarterback recently was Patrick Mahomes. And he started one game his rookie year, right? He sat and held the clipboard and learned. And then the second year, set the world on fire. So whoever they draft, they can do the same thing for Jimmy Garoppolo, who's the quarterback who gives them the best chance to win a Super Bowl right now. Now, who do they draft? I'm willing to believe Louis Riddick, Stephen A. I'm willing to believe, of course I believe him, but I'm willing to believe the people he's talking to, that they really think Mac Jones is the best quarterback in the draft. They've studied it more than I have. And I'll say this, what Tom Brady's career has shown is as much as I love Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and all those, oh my God, did you see that things they can do? Provided you have the requisite arm strength, which Mac Jones has, the number one most important aspect of a quarterback's game is decision-making. It's leadership and decision-making. How quickly can you make the decisions? How good are those decisions? Apparently, they think Mac Jones is really good and he makes them really fast. Okay, to my eye, the guy should be Justin Fields. I was reluctant even to say, wait, Zach Wilson's better than I've watched enough now. I say, I think Zach Wilson is better than Justin Fields. I don't think anyone else is. So if it were me, I'd hold on to Garoppolo, draft Justin Fields, maybe by the end of the season or maybe next season, Justin Fields is the quarterback and he's really ready to go. And meantime, you have a chance to compete for a Super Bowl this year. But Shanahan's got to take who he likes, and that may be Mac Jones. Whoever he takes, I would keep Garoppolo and make him the starter and give yourself the best chance to win the Super Bowl.
Well, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, I don't want to hear anything about Garoppolo's leadership. You're the quarterback, like I told you before. I can name 4 levels you go to before you even get to him when you think about the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't want to hear that. Now, I will acknowledge he's 24-8 as a starter. We can't sniff at that. He's completed 67% of his passes in his career. Last year, he only played 6 games. He was 3-3. Okay, he was 3-3. What did he complete? He completed 67% of his passes, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Nothing to write home about, period. When I look at Jimmy G, here's the deal. I'd say you can move on from him. And here's the reason why. You clearly have significant questions about him. About 2 years ago, you gave him a deal, $137.5 million, $72 million in guarantees. Obviously, you went to a Super Bowl in the second year because he got injured his first year there. Went to the Super Bowl second year. Yeah, he didn't get it done. So be it. That's life. But the reality of the situation is that the best ability is availability, and that hasn't been Jimmy Garoppolo. And so when you look at it from that perspective and you look at the plethora of teams out there who need a quarterback, again, I ask a similar question to what I asked the other day about Aaron Rodgers. What if you put Jimmy G on the market? What could you get for him? That's the question. And if you could get something significant for him, I'd say particularly with the Mac Jones, the Justin Fields of the world, the Trey Lances of the world available at that number 3 spot, expected to be available, that's something that you should entertain. Let's also remember that when we look at the San Francisco 49ers, we can point to Jimmy G all we want to. I would remind everybody about how elite this defense was when they went to the Super Bowl. I would remind everybody that last year Nick Bosa goes down. He's out for the season. And Bruckner ended up departing, I believe it was for Indianapolis, if I remember correctly. So their defensive line was severely compromised last year. They didn't put much pressure on the passer. That compromised their defense to some degree, which still was not awful. So when I look at them and I say, excuse me, if Nick Bosa coming back healthy, all right, and you buffer up that defensive line, who knows how elite this defense will be again, because that was their recipe for success. And Kittle was down on the offensive side of the ball, so you didn't have a reliable weapon at the tight end spot to throw the football to, and that's no longer going to be the case. There's a lot of things to point to about the 49ers that are very, very good. You combine that with Kyle Shanahan's ability to call plays. I mean, we all think Kyle Shanahan is elite. Take out his Super Bowl flops, and the man is elite, no question about it, because other than the Super Bowl, he shows up and shows out and as an offensive mind, and we like what John Lynch has assembled there as well. So I think San Francisco's in a good situation to use Jimmy Garoppolo as an asset to garner other assets in return for his services while drafting, whether it's Mac Jones, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance. I think you can pull that off if you're San Francisco.
Yep. But now you're not competing for a Super Bowl, Stephen A. And
Who says?
You bring up a good point. They had a lot of injuries last year. They're going to be getting those guys back, so they could expect to do better. Something you didn't bring up, though, you're being slick. I don't blame you. You're arguing that position. Didn't get past me. If they were 3-3 with Garoppolo last year, right? Mm-hmm. And they won 6 games altogether. Now, I didn't major in math, but it seems to me that they were therefore 3-7 without him. Mm-hmm. 3-7 without him. They even last year, with the problems they had, they won as much as they lost with Jimmy G. Without him, they lost more than twice as much as they won. My point is this. I would agree with you if the Niners weren't in contention. But if you have Super Bowl aspirations, you're right. It's not like Garoppolo's going to take a bad team to the Super Bowl. But he's already shown he could take a good team to the Super Bowl. He could take them there with a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. He can take them there to the point where one pass wins the game. He didn't hit it. Maybe next time he does. The point is, the Niners want to contend right now. Jimmy G has consistently shown, including last year, he is an enormous difference over his replacement. Why not keep him? Try to contend for the Super Bowl. You might mess around and win it. Meantime, you develop your rookie quarterback in a low-pressurized situation and then hand him the ball the year after this one. It seems to make the most sense.
Max Kellerman, do you remember what I told you about Jimmy G? You keep bringing him up, taking the team to the Super Bowl. Molly, please join in this discussion here because I'll ask her a question, albeit rhetorical. I'll still take your input, Molly, because I don't want to hear from Max anymore about this. Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers beat the Minnesota Vikings in the postseason the year they go to the Super Bowl, 27-10. Mm-hmm. Jimmy G completed 11 of 19 passes for 131 yards. They go to the NFC Championship game. They beat Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers 37-20. Jimmy G's numbers, 6 for 8 for 77 yards. Are we really going to sit here with a straight face and say Jimmy G took them to the Super Bowl? 208 yards passing combined in the entire playoffs, and you're going to tell me he took them to the Super Bowl? Really? Really?
He got them in position. He got them there. He didn't lose the game. Isn't that part of it?
No. That's fair.
Right?
It would be an issue if I'm excoriating the man, which I am not. I'm not going at porn star Jimmy like that. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is Max Kellerman said he took them. He's porn star Jimmy. I'm out here in L.A. I know where he was. It's porn star Jimmy. Trust me. The point that I'm trying to make to you is that in the playoffs against Minnesota and Green Bay in the NFC playoffs, he threw for a combined 208 yards, and Max is sitting there saying, he took him to the Super Bowl. I'm saying no.
No. Shanahan obviously Shanahan obviously wants a quarterback who he can trust to do more, right? I think that's pretty clear. They wouldn't have drafted a quarterback. And also, Jimmy G's unreliable in terms of his health. Stephen A., if that's true, that he doesn't matter, why can they not buy a win without him?
Well, I'm just saying they might win with the next quarterback.
Right?
And by the way, in that playoffs, in that one playoff game, Mostert ran for 220 yards, by the way, in that NFC Championship game. Let's not forget that.
As a rookie?
Mostert ran for 220 yards
Super Bowl with a rookie?
in the NFC Championship game.
I think what's more concerning about Jimmy G is his health, right? He missed games in New England. He's only played